Hey everyone, Christina Whiteley here, Realtor with Fabulous Homes Colorado, powered by Keller Williams Partners. And this is Fabulous Neighbors of Colorado, where we feature local businesses and entrepreneurs. And today we have the pleasure of sitting with Scott Brandt. He's with College Funding Solutions, Inc. Thanks for coming, Scott.
Appreciate it, thank you.
So I've been going through the whole scholarship process, getting my daughter ready to go to college, and it's so overwhelming, and you're here to help.
That's correct.
So tell us a little bit about what you do and how families can bring you into the process. And
So for what we do, we meet with the families one-on-one. We're also trying to do group consultations with larger groups, so that way we can knock out a lot more individuals at one time. But in regards with the families, once we start working with them, one thing that we do is we'll meet with them for free that initial time.
Okay.
Give them the education, help them understand the process.
Right.
One thing that people don't realize is that college planning is a marathon, not a sprint. So a lot of times we talk to families and they're waiting till the senior year to start this process, and by that time the student's very behind the eight ball. And there's a lot of things that are overstepped and overlooked starting that late in the game than starting as a freshman or a sophomore in regards to the planning of the college journey.
Okay, well that's good to know because I had no idea, and we are one of those scrambling right now because she's a senior. So you're saying freshman, sophomore year is when we should get started.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, and what's the biggest myth that everybody, believes when getting ready to start college, planning for college?
The biggest one that I come across when I talk to families is a lot of families state that they make too much money.
Okay.
So they go through the process, that thought process of I make too much money, so why even complete the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. And that's the process that started to open up the vaults from the colleges. The majority of the funding that you receive to pay for college actually comes from the schools. 97% of the funding actually comes from the schools. The other 3% is the government and scholarship, private sector scholarships. But the majority actually comes from the schools. And so with these families believing they make too much money, they don't complete that vital step of the FAFSA, which is going to open up and make sure that the schools provide an offer to them.
Okay, I did not know that. So I guess there we have it. And what do colleges look at, when that application gets turned in? What are they looking for? Community service or?
So with what the colleges are looking at, they're looking at the whole person concept for these students. They're looking at the academic realm, they're looking at the social realm, and they're looking at the financial realm. With academics, that's in the students' control, so GPA, SAT, ACT scores, that's on their work. The social aspect, they're looking for students actually giving back to their community, taking on a couple leadership positions, because they want to see that if they're already doing that as a high school student, they're more prone that once they're in college, they're going to continue doing that. And then once they graduate, they go back, become a well-rounded member of society. And the colleges rely on their alumni with the donations. So with those individuals that are prone to give back already, that's what they're looking at. And then the financial, that's just looking through the FAFSA, which we help out with. The FAFSA is looking at the income for both the parents and the students, and the assets of both the parent and the student. So there's a lot that goes into that calculation for your expected family contribution. Very convoluted, it's very difficult to understand because it's an index that colleges utilize. And I also read that some states will actually utilize that FAFSA information, and there's programs that states have that they may utilize to help fund college for the students. So it actually goes outside the college realm too.
Very cool. So they're kind of paying attention for consistency. And what's the biggest thing that we miss on those college applications? Probably one that I missed myself.
The biggest one that's overlooked is letter of recommendations. So this is like applying for a job, going to college. College is a business, so the colleges are looking for the best of the best, but they also need that diversity of different students coming in. So a lot of times students will be told, hey, talk to your guidance counselor, talk to a teacher to get a letter of recommendation, which is great. Those are individuals that they work on a daily basis. But we also bring to the attention to the families of the students to go and talk to people outside the classroom sector. So a coach, a boss, somebody of that nature that can actually show the school, the college, a well-rounded person, somebody outside the academic realm, and lets them know this is who that person is outside of their studies. So they're trying to project that well-rounded individual for the schools and the colleges.
Okay. And then why is career planning so important while we're getting ready to get started in college?
So career planning, that's a big push that we have. A lot of times students are told, hey, you got great math grades, great science grades, you'll be great as an engineer. They don't go and talk to people in that industry. So we're in the process of trying to help these students out that they have an idea of what they want to do, working with business leaders in the community to get these students connected with so they can potentially job shadow, internships potentially, and then get that letter of recommendation out of that activity with those business leaders. This also allows the students to see if it's something that they really want to do or if it's not, because in high school it's free to change. Once you're in college and you switch degrees, it can get very expensive.
Right.
You may be in college a lot longer than 4 years.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I'd like to touch back on, you had mentioned start freshman, sophomore year to start planning for college. Why would we want to start that early? It just seems so early to me.
That is, yes, a lot of people are like, why would I want to think about that? But
Right.
it is a very large journey, a very long journey. So there's certain aspects that we're looking at that if you miss, that could potentially hurt you as a student or family in regards to what the funding is offered from the schools.
Okay.
As a freshman, we do personality profiles, kind of figure out what the student likes to do, what they want to do, what they enjoy doing.
Okay.
And then shaping it that way, helping them out, looking at different careers. That way, once they're as a senior, they can narrow down the career that they'd like to obtain. That way, they get to college and they reduce their course load and whatnot. And then with the college selection process, which we'll talk here soon, that's another thing that we're looking at, helping out these students to make the most informed decision for them. The other thing is, as we're going through, they may decide that college isn't for them. So we don't have a one-size-fits-all process here. So if the student doesn't want to go to college, they may need to go to a 2-year school, a trade school, go to the military, or go to work right out of high school.
Okay.
So we're helping them make the most informed decision that's going to best fit them as an individual.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense actually, and then you're not scrambling like we were, and you're already emotional because my baby's growing up and gonna leave, you know. So, and then what should we consider while we're looking at our college selections?
So the biggest thing that a lot of families will overlook is actual doing the college campus tours.
Okay.
A lot of times students will look at the brochures of the colleges and say, oh, this looks really great. I met with a guidance counselor at James Irwin, and she had a student that was considering University of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
The brochure was great, but once she went down to the campus, took a look at the campus where it was located at, the student came back and said, that location is not for me. Didn't have a good gut feel, so she took it off her options of the school because she didn't feel good when she had visited. So looking at that, and then while you're doing those campus visits, we suggest that the student talks to the financial aid officer and the admin officer. So that way, once we're going through the process, if we work with families and they have to appeal the offers that the schools offer, they've already given their face, the admin officer, the financial aid officer knows who they are. So appealing that offer may be a bit easier for them than somebody that didn't do the campus tour and the individuals don't know who this individual is.
Okay, that makes sense. And then if you start early, like you're saying, you have time to go and tour several. So very
correct,
cool.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming on, Scott. We're definitely going to link his information in the description section so you can reach out to Scott and get everything started. And if you would like to be featured on our show, definitely let me know. You can text me. My information will be down below, or you can comment and we'll get a time set up where we can meet. And remember who to call for all of your fabulous real estate needs and your college needs. Make it a fabulous day.